Hello everybody, this is Odd Job Entertainment bringing you another video, and today we're going to talk about animals and distribution centers. I think most Star Citizen players have a secret fear that whenever any other game does well, Chris Roberts is going to want to absorb it like Unicron into Star Citizen. That seems to have led to a lot of feature creep in recent years, and Helldivers 2 is no exception. But rest assured, I'm not advocating for Helldivers 2 to be integrated completely into Star Citizen. However, based on what we do know about the upcoming animals that will be added to the game, there are some mechanics that I think do carry over well, and I would like to see them at some future date. In a recent Inside Star Citizen, we saw the progression of work on the distro centers expected to be introduced in 3.23. These are going to be large structures that hopefully come with an abundance of different gameplay opportunities. One idea that is particularly exciting to me is the mention of raids. From CitizenCon and again in this most recent episode, it would seem the definition of raid they were referring to is more literal in the sense that you're infiltrating and stealing something of high value. At least that's what they showed in the CitizenCon demo, and they didn't really elaborate too much more on it in this most recent episode. My hope is that they'll get a bit more creative in time and give it the more familiar video game definition. My hope is that we'll see raid bosses, raid mechanics, and the like to present difficult PvE content to sink your teeth into. Likewise, with animals eventually being introduced, I hope that we'll be able to go on safari and hunt them. Let's take a look at what right now is a very generic mission in Star Citizen. Someone got themselves stuck in a cave and you've been sent to rescue them, though more likely you're there to confirm their death. As you set off down the mouth of the cave, the light fades behind you, and you're only able to see that which is illuminated by your headlamp. The terrain is treacherous and presents significant challenges to your ongoing spelunking. Eventually, you find your first clue as to the whereabouts of your lost explorer. It seems they've been dropping flares to light their way back home. As you follow this path of pink light, you eventually find your fallen comrade, but you also find something else. As you look up, your headlamp catches a glint off the hard carapace of a pyro crab. What started off as a simple recovery mission is suddenly transformed into a life and death grudge match between you and a 20-foot crab. Okay, how about another scenario, this one playing directly off Helldivers. A local settlement has put out a request on Spectrum for an extermination crew to eliminate a collection of pyro crab nests in the nearby foothills. However, a constant dust storm makes approach in aerial vehicles ill-advised. You and a squad of friends set off on low-altitude grav cycles and an Ursa rover towards the location of the reported sightings. Your trip takes you on a winding path surrounded on both sides by high rock walls. While still en route to the coordinates, your crew is fallen upon by a small horde of crabs, and you now need to use your combined firepower to defend your slower Ursa rover from the assaulting creatures, while using your grav cycle's agility to keep yourself at a safe distance as well. The crabs are relentless and unpredictable. They can break off and pursue individual targets at any time, so the fight keeps you on your toes. But once clear of the wave of crabs, you're able to continue a bit further until you get to the main cave entrance at the coordinates you were given. Unfortunately, it's too small for your vehicles to continue on. The rest will need to be on foot. The rock formations are different here and have a more organic pattern as they bend and twist around you. You hear the distinct sound of chitons skittering on rock as you continue deeper into the network. The unsettling feeling in your gut is justified because you now find yourself needing to defend yourself from crabs on their own turf. But pushing through the various paths of this labyrinthian network, you arrive at a large cavern where you see that there are things scarier than crabs. In the far corner, a massively overgrown boreal stalker lies sleeping on a pile of human remains. Before you and your cohorts can retreat, the stalker's weight shifts and changes as it snaps awake at the scent of fresh meat. How it got there, why it's so big, and how long it's been there are questions to answer after you survive the encounter. That is, if you survive the encounter. Here's one more scenario for you. The Herson family estate was recently raided and several classified documents of their illegal dealings and connections with foreign entities have been confiscated by UEE authorities. You've received a promise of a large sum of money through one of your less than legal informants. Your mission? Locate the datapad inside a large distribution center and wipe the incriminating data from its drives. The site is heavily fortified and UEE forces are in full strength. The best option may be to use a stealthier route through a maintenance tunnel. The tunnel is monitored by several laser tripwires. If activated, a platoon of Marines will converge on your location in seconds. Complicating things further, the maintenance tunnel is due for some maintenance itself. Great care needs to be taken to avoid falling through the pipe walls to a dark death below. Getting through the end of the maintenance tunnel, you get to a guard checkpoint on one of the lower levels. You can either take the guards on head-on, or you can pursue an alternate route to take the power offline and take your targets on in the dark. After getting past the guards, you'll arrive at the high security facility deep in the bowels of the wider distro center. Your target can be seen within a large plexiglass room in the center. But before you can get to it, there are 2 Nova tanks to take on. That's okay, you planned for this, and you have at least 2 railguns in your squad to deal with them. What you may not have counted on was the shields projected on the tanks and powered by the facility. The railguns won't do much with those shields still up. You'll need to overload the shield capacitors to take them offline temporarily to open the shields to small arms fire. Seasoned gamers will probably recognize the various opportunities for game mechanics to be added into these scenarios. Are these the best possible ideas for a raid? Probably not. I'm one person with no game development experience, and CIG has whole teams dedicated to mechanics and story content. If anything though, I hope this opens up a conversation on how these areas can be used to enhance the player experience. I want to see extensive in-game content that challenges players of all skill levels. Distro centers are the first real peek at what that may look like, but they've raised some concerns of their own, namely PvP versus PvE combat. For the uninitiated, PvP stands for player versus player, and PvE stands for player versus environment. It's been a hotly debated topic within Star Citizen. Helldivers gives us a great perspective on how great PvE content can be. It's very well done and has had meteoric success in a world currently starved for quality. Star Citizen is not just a PvE game though. Players who ran into murder hobos in Pyro found this out very quickly.
We got like a 17-minute section that's just dedicated to camping and griefing at the spawn habs.
It's a very challenging line that the developers need to walk here, because the game can't lean too far in either direction without alienating a large portion of the player base. But I do think PvP needs to be controlled to some degree, and PvE should be significantly more challenging, or at the very least offer higher difficulties. One of the concerns with distro centers is how will CIG prevent those same murder hobos from Pyro, making the locations miserable for everybody. One possible solution is to have 2 types of distro centers, one for PvE activity and one that is more mixed. Players can go to either, but at the PvE locations, the reputation penalties are higher because they are more closely monitored. Once you arrive at the start of your PvE raid area though, you cross over into an instance server where you're more removed from the general population, much like our instanced hangars. This limits how much other players can impact your experience, and if you've kitted yourself out to take on the Nova tank bosses at the end, you won't need to worry about random players coming in to disrupt your activity. This is one thing that server meshing enables, as players in a party could maintain a connection to each other and then move into a new room that isolates themselves from everyone else. And in some hopeful future where we have PvE content that can take an entire session to complete, this makes it more likely that players will want to do so, knowing the risk of getting ganked is somewhat mitigated. I don't think this should always be the case though. There should be plenty of areas where PvP is unavoidable. If you're not looking for that kind of action, you don't need to go to those locations. Many people have clamored for PvE servers. I don't think that's a real solution long term though. But having some activities instance themselves to be PvE only could be a good compromise that keeps both kinds of players happy, while encouraging a wider sense of community and maintaining the integrity the activity is supposed to have. The obvious flip side to the PvE only version of a raid is one that is completely open to the public. For the higher risk, there should be significantly higher payouts, but the difficulty can quickly spiral on you if you're not careful. Using our scenario from before, maybe once getting past the guard checkpoint, an alarm is inevitably triggered, forcing the saboteurs to endure a lengthy security reset to escape, with the risk of the entire local server population looking to cash in on sizable bounties. What I don't want to see in either case is the complete removal of friendly fire. Controlling PvP should be done in most cases diegetically through reputation and related systems. We don't want invisible walls and mysterious armistice zones that somehow prevent characters from brandishing a weapon. Rather, we want the systems in place to be able to handle them within the context of the lore. But what do you think about what we've covered today? We've talked about some possible raid scenarios involving animals and the new distro centers. We've also discussed a possible method for separating PvE and PvP. Am I off the mark? Do you have some other ideas to add? Share them down below. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the video, so like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and let me know what you think down below. And until next time, this is Odd Job Entertainment, signing off.